It's no secret. It's plain to see. And I love you. And you love me. It's no secret. You know it's true. You love me. And I love you. The only time we seem to meet is in the middle of the night. Only then can I feel your heartbeat. Till something's not right. Together I see you and me, always and all time. But not everyone would agree. To them it's a crime. It's no secret. It's plain to see. Yes, I love you. And you love me.
All right. Hello, Michelle. Can you hear me?
All right, can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can. Hold on.
I think we've got it. My
Yes, and
gosh.
thank you everyone for being patient with us as we are doing our first show together.
Yes, and like they didn't let me change my thumbnail or anything, so I promise you I do not look like a real, oh, I guess you can see me now. Hey,
You look fantastic. Don't even worry about it. So I'm
thank you
just
so
thrilled.
as do you.
Yes, I'm just thrilled that we're getting this thing started. So I
Yay, we
did
did
want to,
it. We didn't let anything get in our way. We just believed in the promise and we went for it.
I
Hey,
know
wait, Bot, nice to
exactly.
see you.
Nice to see you. Wait, bye. All right,
Wait, Bot,
listen.
is that a person?
No, this Waitbot is like actually the show's supposed to start like I think in 4 minutes, but
Oh, okay.
I think we're actually out there and simulcasting right now. So we're gonna go
Okay.
ahead and start because I believe this is all it's interesting because what happened was I had started the show and then if you click out to give you the link, it ends the show. So I had to start a new show like so
Oh, okay. Well,
there's
you
a
know what
learning
though?
curve.
It is a learning curve. And so can anyone else that last link you sent me, I could send that to anyone, right? I can
You
like
can
put
send
that
that
in the
to everyone on the planet. Yeah, send it to
okay, and then
anyone.
they'll come over here. Okay, I'm just gonna put it in the large sums of money,
Yeah, we got
which is
freckles
where we
going on in
met.
here. Hello. I know. And
Hi.
I want to introduce you properly really quick before you say any more because I have this beautiful intro. Just let people know who you are. Michelle's a TEDx speaker and a co-author of an international best-selling book called Harmony in Chakras, which you were just telling me you were having like a chakra blowout. But anyway, volume 2, and most importantly, you are a sales confidence and self-mastery coach, which I love. Your saying is why both? Because when you learn to master your time, energy, resources, and emotions, go ahead, say it.
You will more
You will more
confidently
confidently.
sell. You'll more confidently sell. It's so
Yes,
true. It's so true. And it's really
manifestation.
exciting. Took me this many years old to figure it out. So you don't have to.
I know. Well, it's a passion of mine to talk about selling because I think of selling as service. I think selling is
Yes,
sharing
it
and
is.
selling is service. And
Mhm.
when people think of selling as some evil, annoying thing, well, then they're not very good at it. And they don't realize why. And right there is part of it, your attitude.
Most people, well, I mean, let's face it, I don't blame us, just like I don't blame a
Yeah.
lot of us humans for the perceptions that we have about the world because we've been shaped to see money as evil. It's been a choice between spirituality and money. I actually had someone tell me that when they were reading my cards, you're
Oh, hold up.
Uh-oh.
I just missed that last part you said, but I was going to ask everybody to say hello
Okay.
and comment or request to talk. Comment or request up. I'm not sure exactly.
Yes. Hello, Fiona. Welcome in and share
Okay, I just saved that as the
conversation.
fortune cookie. So anyway, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I cut you off because, like I said, I'm learning the tech, guys.
Okay. No. So what was it you were doing? You were
So
doing you said the fortune cookie?
yeah, so there's this little thing, the scrolling message that goes out to
Oh, okay.
everybody in the room here, and it asks them to introduce yourself or say hi,
Oh,
or
I really like this app
it's going to
already.
grow on you, I'm telling you, because it's got a lot of cool features.
It does have a lot of cool features. I'm already loving it. So
You
that's
can go
great.
down at the bottom there and you can react with some emojis, you can wave, you can ask questions.
I
Um,
love you can use it on your. I love that you can use it on your laptop. Or that it's not just a phone
yes,
because I like Clubhouse and certain other ones are just kind of more just for your phone. So this is really cool.
yes. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I think they said they just enabled that yesterday. So there's no coincidences.
Wow, are you serious? Now
I'm
that's
being
powerful.
I'm being super serious. Isn't that crazy?
That is so powerful. Well, good. Well, I'm glad we decided to do this. So,
That
what I was
today's the
saying,
day. Yeah,
today's
go ahead.
day, and what is it? It's January 25th, 2023.
Hmm.
Remember this date, it shall go forever in infamy. Hey, Seb, what's happening? Nice to see you here. Welcome in. So I was just talking about sales and selling and how that fits into spirituality. Because what I was saying is that I realized one of my blocks to selling and to creating sales. I actually had someone was doing a reading for me, a tarot reading, and they said I was going to have to choose between spirituality and money. And of course, now let me say this: the person that was reading for me was very self-interested, so that's why she was saying that. I get that now. I got that then, and I get that now. But subconsciously, it definitely had a toll on me because it was during my dark night of the soul journey, and it was a lot of very
Oh, so
impactful
you're having all
things
your
happened.
limiting beliefs just pop up in your face.
Oh, it was big. It was. I had my generational curses. I had everything pop up in my face, life, death, everything. It was quite the time, But I had to go through that, and I didn't realize that I was going through that in 20 from 2017 to 2019. But I went through all that right before the pandemic, and so by the pandemic time, I was ready to be open. I was open to the bigger purpose. So like you said, everything happens for a reason.
Yes, it does. It does. So, I had attended your Tuesday thing, and I thought maybe you'd like to share that with people because it seems to be an ongoing event with you, your scenic route to sales.
Yes, yes, the scenic route to sales, and it's to sustainable sales. It's a master class I do every Tuesday morning. I've committed to because this is what I've understood as far as being, and when it comes to having an attention deficit or ADHD, I've realized that it's easy for me to get, and the reason I'm telling you kind of like the backstory about the event is because I'm hoping that maybe some of your listeners may be able to relate to this and understand my reasoning and purpose for creating a weekly event. Um, if you do have a neurodivergency, and it takes a lot of energy, at least for mine. I'll only speak on my behalf. For
Right.
me, it expresses itself very chaotically in a lot of ways. I definitely have spider web thinking where putting things together all the time, solving problems in my head, seeing patterns and how they all work together. Uh, and that can get kind of messy for me. That can get energetically draining for me.
Yeah.
So what I've had to learn and what I've learned over after studying sales and marketing and deeply immersing myself into communities online, about sales and marketing, particularly in the tech space and software as a service, which they call SaaS.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that is because they're on the leading edge and the cutting edge of technology where it meets how people are buying, which is everywhere we all should be, you know? Or it's just everywhere it's happening. It's everywhere it's happening.
It's just happening. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's where the marketplace is. You know what I'm saying? The marketplace is online. So I immersed myself in these communities and I realized, okay, you know, I have all this energy, but it's easy for me to spread myself too thin because I
Mhm.
can see how so much could work together. And
Yeah.
I realized I had to take my power back in these ways this year and put it all towards my event. Now I'm more selective, more intentional. And again, this goes back to energy management and sales. You know, pick, you know, when you can figure out a couple of things to focus on. And as a creative, I'm looking at it as a project, not as this is my end all be all. Because I think you said this the other day. Nobody's just one anything. You know what I mean? No one is just like
Yes.
we're not just one. We're not just
Dimension.
talented
Yeah.
in one area. What's that?
Right. One dimension.
You
Like you're
know,
multidimensional. Yeah.
we are multidimensional. I love how Marie Forleo says multi-passionate. You know, she's a
Yes.
multi-passionate entrepreneur.
There's
I
people.
really love
There's
that.
people that say
That
multi-potentialites, right? That's another word that's used in the community. That.
yeah, and then polymath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, polymath is another one that's used very often. So, yeah. So, but I said, but this is what I get to focus on for the moment. Because I can channel my creativity in all the different ways through this event, and this is how I'm going to attract the right people into into collaboration. Because anytime you're doing a group mastermind or anything like that, everybody, it should be created to where everyone rises. You know, you've just created the container and you're going to guide the ship, but everyone gets to rise when everyone's engaged. So I decided I'm going to do this free masterclass on Tuesdays. I'm actually going to launch my mastermind, which I'm only going to have up to 20 people in it for my sales mastermind at first. And so I'm going to launch that on Wednesday. But for now, I'm doing it's absolute. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. I'm really, really excited because I know that one thing I know is that I help people make more money. I just do. It's just a natural thing. I help people just be more abundant in their thinking.
Yeah, me too. That's why I vibe so hard, because I was like, that's what I do. It's like once you tap into the frequency, like it's just abundancy in everything, including money. You know, it's not exclusive
can you explain
to just
a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, so I, as a ADHD coach, right? People place me in this box, like I just work on strategies with ADHD, which is part of what I do. But a lot of like when I do group work and stuff, it's usually, like you're saying, around a common theme. And that theme is not usually ADHD. That theme is usually something to do with either being an entrepreneur, being in sales, or just learning. Like I've got one, it's called Level Up, Lighten Up. We've been going 2 years now. And we meet every Monday night, and it's about really expanding your consciousness. So it's taking those people that know nothing about, being awakened. They're just tapping into the fact that everything is energy, and they're like, what's that exactly mean?
Yeah.
And we kind of deep dive in that. But what happens is so fascinating, because then your self-esteem grows, your confidence grows, your ability to think outside the box, especially since everyone in that group has ADHD pretty much. So like that's not a problem, but then it becomes more harnessed. It's like it's not scattered energy, it's more focused energy. And what you create in your world is so intentional. It's everything you're saying. It's intentional. And like this new thing that we're working on, because through Brian Scott's Reality Con 3 that we went to, that's where we met.
Yes.
And through the Coherence group, right? Practicing that is kind of my focus for February because it ties in nicely with Valentine's and the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But so anyway, to answer your question, I mean, I feel like I do a lot of things, but really, I mean, I just market myself as a coach, like an ADHD coach, but there's a lot that it really, if someone's an entrepreneurial spirited person, that's we're going to vibe more than like someone who's like I don't really coach kids or anything. It's really
Right.
what people in business, men and women in business who are pretty high achievers and not always. I mean, sometimes they're just average, but like, they want to just up their game and be more focused and be more confident and feel like they're actually expanding their world, not just achievement wise, but like
Hmm.
becoming more
Hmm.
more and on a spirit realm. Like I always go into this, soul energy thing because this is one incarnation. You are so
Right.
much more. I'm so much more than just Jenny.
Sure, of
Although I love
course.
her dearly and she is doing the best she can at all moments. I'm
That's
more
true.
I'm more than that, right? Like you're
Yeah.
more than this. And I am you and you are me. And so exploring those concepts is pretty woo-woo for a lot of people. But when you do I kind of create a framework that makes it easy for people to understand and
Hmm.
then to go and do these thought experiments all day. Like, oh, if I think that, then what's that mean about this person who's annoying me in line at the 7-Eleven? Like, if I'm
Right.
actually if that's the version of me that's annoying, I all of a sudden grow a little more compassionate,
Can you
you know?
explain that? Well, can you?
So let's say you see somebody that's really annoying you and you don't want to get angry. So there's this thing about vibration and frequency, which is on a scale. And it really is,
Hmm.
to put it in a very layman's terms, it's an emotional scale.
Sure.
Our emotions, this reality is really informed, your reality is informed by your emotions.
That's
That's why
right.
people can be in the same family and experience the same things, but they have totally different experiences.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Your emotional, right? And a lot of that with ADHD is specific in this sense. Like I talk about this a lot with my clients because you might have been doing things in a unique way that made total sense to you as kind of maybe a black and white thinker or someone who's jumping in the middle to start instead of at the quote beginning, you know. And
Hmm.
so, and you got the look like, what are you doing? Right? That dinged your self confidence and your self esteem,
Sure it did. Yeah.
and maybe not your sibling who doesn't think the same way as you, doesn't have that same neural wiring and or brain chemistry, however you want to look at it. But like, so that experience, you're coming into the world perhaps with a lower frequency without even realizing it. You could be higher and happier in a way at certain occasions, but I'm talking about your set point. You may have
Hmm. Yeah.
a lot of self doubt. That's just from your programming from when you were a kid, getting that look like, what are you doing? That does affect you
Yeah.
subconsciously,
I
you know?
agree.
Yeah. So helping people get through that quickly so that you're not having to go pay thousands of dollars for and years in therapy
Right.
is
Right.
is a
Just
real
not just.
passion of mine.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm glad you said that because that has a lot to do with why I decided to focus on sales confidence as well. Because there are like right now, I just feel like a lot of people who um, uh, need to be emboldened to speak their truth. Um, I believe that sound creates worlds. So I believe that the words that we speak, that we are actually literally creating our 3D experience through our
Yes.
vocal cords, and that's the throat chakra. Um, and too many of us don't speak up enough, and eh, um, or we're so focused on these energy pendulums as reality, as Vadim Zealand would say from reality transurfing. There's so much trying to get our attention to speak on, but when we're speaking on these other things that actually don't have to do with our experience, we're only giving energy to it and taking energy away from ourselves.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot, especially if you're empathic, particularly if you do have ADHD, because it's so easy to focus on something that's blaring in front of your face, and it's so easy to catch feelings about it.
Yeah.
So to be consciously going through our process, and to be aware of what is in front of us and why, and to recognize that we get to choose how we're communicating, what we're communicating, and with whom we're communicating, that is priceless. And I believe that there's a lot of people who have such a passion to help the world in so many ways, whether it's they've created a product, whether they've created software, whether they are service oriented and service based, where they have a modality or are able to coach people. And our empathy is our superpower when we know how to use it. So I would say that the hidden transformation for anyone that works with me, most people I'm going to attract are people that are empathic, that recognize that they do have a gift and that they are here for a specific purpose on this world, and really just need to have permission to play full out. Like, I am the biggest cheerleader. I am like the biggest hype man. You're
really great. I gotta tell you, and you're a musician, like you're a rapper. I mean, you're so talented. And I'm gonna be leaving. Yeah, I'm gonna leave links and stuff so people can go find your in other places, because you make some beautiful, powerful, contributions out there. I see we've got more people in our
Hey,
studio
everyone.
here. Does anyone want to come up and talk or say hi or something? I'm not sure. This is our first show together, so I'm not sure how this works. But if you do, I think you just have to use your react, or you can turn on your
fire.
I know some gave us fire.
Thank you. Thanks for the fire.
Kylie.
Thanks for the thumbs up.
Yeah, we got Kylie giving us a hi. Yeah. So I'd love to, if anybody wants to be unmuted or something, just I guess you let me know, right? Is that how it works? Not sure.
I'm assuming so. I don't know. Wait, what's this?
You guys have to give us a little bit of leeway for the learning curve here. We got someone laughing. Oh, you're laughing. That's you. That's when you react. You can react with emojis.
Okay.
Yeah, and I made you a producer, so if you wanted to do whatever, you have as much control in this as I do right now. So
okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but hey, that's how you learn. It's how you learn. It's how you grow.
I gotta give you a lot. I give you a lot of credit, because this is the first time today that you've ever even been on the platform. I've been trying a couple days. I could never get my sound attached. Anyway, back to the topic for everybody. So tell me, when you think about, if someone's watching this, right, in YouTube land, because it's being simulcasted out to YouTube.
Great.
And they're thinking to themselves, like, I really stink at sales. Like, just what is the number, like, one thing that I know what I would say, but I'm curious what you would say is the number one first step to get really better at selling, sales, or even impact, like, just let's say you're an influencer, or you're having to, like, your job requires that you contact more people, and like it's just something that you find uncomfortable.
Yeah, first and foremost, you do want to you got to get connected with yourself and ask yourself what is this, like, who are you to be in the world? I mean, I know it seems like a big a big question, but it is important, because actually you should be asking yourself that whatever you're doing or deciding to do or choosing to do as your career. I mean, you have a choice, you do have a choice. So, they say that sales isn't for everyone. I disagree to a sense, because the art of persuasion is something that we all need to learn, and we just got to get over it. I mean, I hate to say it, but in 2023,
you just got to get over it.
in 2023, like, we don't have time to be sent over. Like, we need to, like, heal our wounds, whatever our sensitivities are, whatever the case may be. And it's just time for some action. I mean, our world is it. We need leaders. We need real leaders, not just not the not. We do not need more passive standardized. We need actual people that are in
Yes.
the game, actually contributing to this world in a powerful way. And if you have something, it's actually your responsibility to be sharing that and to be doing it confidently. Now, if you're
Oh
working
my
for an
gosh.
organization, oh, what's that?
I just learned about the law of responsibility and I was like,
I haven't even heard of that.
there's a law of response. It's a universal law. And it means once you know something, you are responsible to behave accordingly. Like if
It's
you were
true.
given some information, it's your responsibility to share it and pass it along. You're not given insights to hoard or to ignore. And it is a responsibility. It's the responsibility, right? It is the stepping into the action, and it can be uncomfortable. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many times when I think, it's none of my business. Just I'll zip it. I'm not saying a word. It's none of my business. But I actually do know something that maybe the other people don't know. And then when I realized if you don't do that, it works against you in a karmic way. I was like, I will step into responsibility then because I don't need that. Like, it's
Well,
interesting. So,
I love what you're saying because the truth is that that our soul knows what we're supposed to do or what we're not supposed to do. And when we go against our soul, we're just going against ourselves. We're not being authentic. And that's what
yeah.
everybody's talking. That's the buzzword of the day, authenticity. It's like, but what does authenticity really mean? Does it just mean that that you're just going to say whatever's on your mind whenever? No, but it does mean that there is a responsibility, that you do take it seriously, and that you intend to get to the truth as quickly as possible. I just thought of this the other day. I said, there's no liberation like the truth. And that's so true. There's no liberation like the truth.
That's very true. Someone else has just joined us. Hello, Kathy, I think.
Hi. Hello,
So,
Kathy. Welcome in.
we have someone, I think, what's this one? Is someone trying to speak? Seb, enjoying the show, not so much into sales, but picking up on things you mentioned. Heard you talking about heart coherence, spirituality. Can relate to that. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I would say to people, Jenny, is that truly sales and being of service is the same thing, just like you said. So that's what I really help people go from being sales nervous to giving 5-star service. It's part of what we do, but you could do that. You are a leader. You can lead in any position that you're in. So I mean, that's why I was saying that it doesn't necessarily have to be sales, but that's just what I'm focused on, because I know that there's
Yes.
a lot of great leaders that need to get confident about what they're doing, and what's not working is
Yes.
just trying to just trying to sell to people, or trying to buy these frameworks or courses that are you're gonna 10x yours. Like, that's just not the way that myself as a creative, and a
Yeah.
lot of people, especially people that are empathic, that's not the way they're not going to be able to just do this framework. It's not the way that they're here to serve. They're not just here to
No.
attract a lot of people. They're
And
here to
this
lead
is
the right people.
small. Yes, smaller. And I think if people think of like stepping into it's kind of what you're talking about, but like, let's say you had a book club and you wanted to step into, you might not think of it as a leadership role, but just step into where you can speak, hey, take a turn and sell yourself. It's like it's having the confidence that your ideas are valid and that your connections that you're making, maybe connections other people can't make. Ooh, we have a speaker request.
Yes.
Okay, Chris, let's see. I'm going to accept request.
Hi.
Hey, good
Hello.
afternoon from San Francisco. How are you?
Hi, Chris.
Great.
Doing great. I'm in El Paso, Texas. I never said that. Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
I'm in New York. I never said that either.
Oh, you know what? We got it covered. East Coast, Central, and Western.
Yes, yes, we do. We are all over the place. So, what is happening? How you doing?
Doing great. I just got out of the swimming pool here at my local college where I am a 66-year-old sophomore.
Awesome.
There you go. Good for you. Great. What are you going for?
Studying a wide variety of things, but mainly broadcasting, announcing, voiceover work, videography, things like that.
Oh, I can hear that. I can hear the voice. I can see that. I could see you being good at that because you have like the commanding presence with your voice.
It came with the birth certificate.
I'm sure it did. That is amazing. Awesome. So, well, congratulations. I acknowledge you for, going ahead and going for it and just deciding to go with your passion. Were you in something totally different before?
Not really. I've been a communicator all my life, pretty much teaching since I was 14 years old and working in churches and pastoring, assistant pastoring, and
Okay.
sales, and also in sales. So that's what I wanted to mention real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure. Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, can you invite me to camera just so I can show you the beautiful?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
track
figure
wheel.
this out. Hold on.
There's a little button there. It says invite to camera.
You know what? I
Okay.
absolutely love that. Oh, look, there's Seb's up here too. All right. What's up?
Hello.
Uh-oh. Where'd she go? Hold on. Let me
She'll
see
be
if
back.
I can.
You'll be back. Get her back up here.
Okay. Well, she said she made me a. Wait a minute. She said she made me a. Okay. Now it's making me. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to find it because it says producer and
She's back.
then there
She's
she
back.
goes.
Yeah.
You said you made me a producer too, but I can't figure it out.
Wait a minute. What do I do, Chris? How do I get you on here? On
You just
camera?
push on the three dots, the three lines, and then it'll give you an option to invite to camera.
The
Invite
three
to video.
lines.
Like ellipsis? Where would those be?
At the bottom, yeah.
At the
At
bottom
the
of your
bottom.
picture?
Two lines. I'm sorry.
Yeah, click on that. And
And
then
it'll
it says
invite to video.
I must do I have to click on your picture first?
It doesn't matter. Let's just go with audio. So anyway,
I'm really sorry. I'm trying to
don't
figure
worry.
it out.
I
And
just
it's like
wanted
no.
to share. I wanted to prove to people that the rains have stopped in California finally.
Oh, I got you
Oh,
now. Here we go. Invite to video. I'm clicking
Oh
on
my
it.
gosh!
Maybe there's a
Actually,
little delay.
you made me a producer accidentally, but that'll work.
Okay.
So hang on a
is
second.
that like a moderator on Clubhouse?
It's kind of like that, yeah. So anyway, what I wanted to say real quick is here's video. Hi.
Well, hey, hi. Look at you. Just got out of the swimming pool, you said?
Yeah.
And the rains have stopped. All right.
Rains have stopped, and
Beautiful.
there's
Thanks for sharing.
there's my little mobility scooter.
Okay, wonderful.
Anyway, I wanted to say about sales, and you just mentioned it. Sales is about selling yourself, really, as a relationship. It's not the product, really.
That's
It,
true.
it's the individual. So I want to concur with what you were saying, and I just want to encourage everybody else. Don't worry if you don't have knowledge in a lot of things. Just learn that knowledge about who you are. And then the second thing and the last thing is, and I've already taken up enough time, I apologize.
No, you're fine. No, I love what you just said. Did you hear what he said, Jenny?
I booted myself off, but I'm back.
Okay, no, he said something really powerful. He was speaking of. Can you say it again, Chris?
Basically, just
You have the voice.
learn about yourself. Don't sell yourself short on knowledge of products. Be honest with people. I remember going to a trade show one time, and somebody was asking me about a technical question, and for 3 seconds I tried to bluff my way through the answer, and I realized, no, you can't do that.
Right.
He was asking me how do we plan on doing this technically, and I said, well, we're going to take the B and C and the D and whatever. And I just laughed and said, you know what? I have no clue. And I
Right.
said, let me ask you about you. How are you and your family doing? You know, just sell yourself, know yourself. That's the product you
Yeah,
need to really know is yourself and your integrity and so forth.
Absolutely.
And then finally, I just wanted to add this.
love that.
Uh, that not only do you know yourself and sell yourself, but being of service, like you said, also, both of you are hitting two great points that I love. Be of service. Someone once said years ago, if you want to be greatest, be the servant of all.
Ain't that the truth?
So that's it. Thank you, guys. Have a great
Yeah.
time.
Hey, thank you. Thanks
Absolutely.
for
Thank
coming
you
up and
so
sharing those
much.
gems. I'm gonna follow you. How do I do that? I don't know.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
I'm
can
gonna
always go
figure it out.
back.
I
You
got
can go back and I know how to do that later because you can go back and see
Oh,
who
you
was
know
in
what?
it.
Yeah,
You can go
I
follow
went
them.
ahead and I clicked on and then follow. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm following you now. Yay.
So Seb, you want to unmute?
Sure, I can.
Hey.
Hi.
Good evening from Norway.
Oh, hello.
Norway.
Hello.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you for such a nice
Welcome.
show. I was following along. Hopped in halfway, I guess, but yeah,
No, it's
pretty
good.
well.
You were saying you weren't so much into sales, but you were liking the conversation about the spirituality aspects of what we're talking about and the heart coherence stuff. Michelle, do you remember the people? Because I'd love to like say it right for them to. There's a heart coherence group. It's called the Heart Coherence Collective on YouTube.
The one, are they in the,
They're doing a free
are they in
challenge
the
with
lump
Brian
sums of money
Scott.
thing?
Well, and Brian Scott, they're doing like a challenge in February. Like if you go to that on YouTube,
Neat.
it's a free
No, I don't know
challenge.
who that is though.
Okay, so if you look on YouTube and you look up the Heart Coherence Collective or the Heart Coherence Collaborative, and you'll see they're talking about it. And Brian Scott's going to be having, I think, the first day he's kicking off. He's the guy that brought us together, Seb. So that's why we give him such accolades. Because
Awesome.
He's amazing. Well, he's an amazing. Have you ever heard of him, Brian Scott?
I heard the name, yeah, but I will look up the Heart Coherence Group because I'm a meditation teacher. I'm doing heart-brain coherence meditations.
Oh, great.
Teaching as well. So I certainly will try to find them on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'll follow you too, and then I'll figure out the name and I'll send it to you. Can we message people on here?
I don't know.
That's okay.
But like I said, I know if you go on YouTube, that it's a couple. It's a man and wife couple, and they have beautiful meditations and this challenge that I'm not, just hooking up with them. You're in this like-minded community, and that's all. Yeah. And
look up Brian Scott though, because if you do meditations, he is amazing. He's an amazing resource. He's got quite a huge following on YouTube. 400,000 plus people.
Yeah,
he really takes the creative visualization to the next level.
Yeah, he's Reality Revolution. That's his I guess, brand name. But his Reality Revolution has a lot of sleep meditations too. What kind of meditations do you do, Seb?
Mainly heart focused, and I'm kind of more interested in transformational aspect of meditation. So I help people transform their lives by doing meditation techniques, self-regulating techniques, and try to explain to them how meditation, changing your state of mind, changing your state of being, affects your life, your health, and your life, and the people around you.
Yes, I do some like self-hypnosis, like some subconscious reprogramming stuff in some of my programs, and some matrix re-imprinting, doing some, tapping techniques and getting into that, using your imagination networks, because you kind of shut down your amygdala when you can activate your imagination. So meditation, even when people say they can't meditate, if it starts with 30 seconds of pause, it's like that's where you start, and you can just expand it. It's so needed. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
and meditation comes in so handy. I love that you do that, Seb. And ironically, I'd love to have you. I'd love to help you open your mind a little bit, maybe if it's to the possibilities. Because if you're helping people with meditation, and when it comes to business, meditation is so important, not just for like the reality creation or even the transformation, but I think for the portals, especially with focus, because that's something that's really helped me a lot with using meditation and getting into a meditative state while completing tasks. That's also like a thing. And then also in growing your spiritual practice, not that you need to grow it, I'm not sure. But as we expand and we help more people. We're a service to more people, even through the people that we're working with. Recognizing that pause that you talked about, Jenny, is super, super important to make sure that we're listening.
Especially with
listening and
ADHD,
receiving.
it's the power of the pause. I'm always talking about that. So I see we got Chris laughing, laughing with us, I hope. And we have Cheryl. Welcome.
I really liked what Chris said about being of service.
Yes.
Yeah, such a great guy, Chris. I follow his shows on Fireside too.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm following him now
You should
too.
follow
So
him.
I'm looking to see,
am
like,
excited.
when we go in and you can just hit follow. Is that what you're doing, Michelle?
Well, I'm just clicking on, but I'm on my laptop. Seb, you don't have a follow? Okay, here I found you.
Oh, I'm
Okay, now
already
I'm following
following
you. Do you
Chris.
have? Okay, and look. Oh, okay, and look at you. You've got some meditative series on your show too. So can I ask you a question, Seb?
Sure.
Are you so you're sharing a lot of your meditations on here? Are you still taking new clients, or because of, first of all, if you are, I'd love for people to know that are in the audience, and then I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have a group that's focusing on transformational meditation, and I sell courses. I do courses offline, help out with retreats, and like
Cool.
Chris said, being of service. I love to get up in the morning and think, what can I contribute with today?
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That-
That's it. That's the shift, honestly.
That is the shift. When you think first thing in the morning, how can I be of service? I remember when I had a niece. She was she's really into yoga. She was like, "Well, when you do your meditation practice in the morning, what do you know, what's it involved?" And I was like, I don't have a meditation practice in the morning. She was, "Well, don't you ask like how you can be of service?" I was like, "No." She was like, "Well, then how do you know what you're doing with your day?" And I was like, all of that to me was completely foreign when she asked me. And that was probably about 10 years or 8 years ago. And since then, now
How old was she?
Now I'm laughing at me because she's probably like 10 years younger than me. She's probably in her, like 40, maybe almost 40.
Yeah, that's another thing I really love. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the younger generation, man, I mean, when I talk to like the 18, 19, 20-year-olds of today, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, manifesting." I'm like, "What?" Like, they just talk about it. And I'd love that. Like, this is the world that we're creating for these younger generations to really believe in.
Yes.
And I think it's great. So I just wanted to say that real quick.
Yeah, no, I'll be 50.
But I love what she asked. Just to say, that's a great question,
Well, now I get it. Now I get it. And now
Yeah.
it is absolutely something that I do say. And also, along with the something amazing is going to happen today. Like, I get myself all amped up. I saw in Mind Valley, there was this woman who's doing this big revolution with that. I forget the name that she uses, but it's exciting. It's exciting, all the things that everybody has. And that's why I love this platform, because it gets people connected, more connected. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love what did you just said something that was actually really powerful, and I forgot. Okay, there's my attention deficit kicking in. However, I love it. I love it's the creation. It's because we are creators. So when we are focused our energy on what we can create today, it does change that. So I wanted to bring that back out, because that was actually very powerful. So anyone that's listening, that's one to write down, because I know I'm taking that.
Yeah.
And honestly, not only just in the morning, but like literally you could do that from moment to moment. Especially when you have those feelings of being stuck or whatever.
It's a great way to get you unstuck.
open up.
Yes. Especially if you're having a dip in the afternoon. I found that I was like, wait a minute, I still have like hours in the day. What could I create now? Or who could I connect with now? How could I be of service? And sometimes it's just reaching out and saying hi to somebody. That's just like super easy to do. There's no agenda. It's just making that heartfelt connection to, hey, I was thinking of you. I just want to say
I
hi.
love that you just said that too. That was I want to riff on that for a minute because that is so important to just connect with people without an agenda, which just sounds counterintuitive with sales, but it's really not because um that's why in my Tuesday course, like we really go through those 4 questions. Who am I to be? Who am I to serve? What am I doing here? And why am I talking to this person? Those are the 4 questions that we go through. And the reason why is because like you want to actively participate and be conscious in your business. And I think that we live in a world of such polarization. So, but it's very interesting because we live in a world that's like everything online now. If you're trying to build a business and you're trying to, and you're wanting to attract more clients online, your algorithm's now going to start showing you 10x your, 10x your money. If you're making, you can make 10, 15, 20,000 a month doing this, that, and the third. And it's taking you off of like your actual desire to serve and taking you into a money exchange. And I think, did Seb go back down? Thank you, Seb, for joining us,
absolutely.
by the way. But so it's like it changes from then it turns into a money exchange. Then you've got people that are all trying to just get conversions and get more followers, get more leads. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is because if we get to redefine in 2023, I'm redefining what sales looks like and what it and getting it, taking it back.
That's exciting. That's exciting because if you take it back to it's the original thing is what kind of relationship can I build with you that where both of us have our needs met? There's some kind of win-win here, and it started out with just trading, and it was trading, like I'll help you build your house if you come help me plow my farm, and that is, and then we substituted, well, instead of plowing your farm, like I'll give you this stone, this coin, in trade, and then that had value, and then people were trading that for food or other items, and it just grew from there. And if you think about it, it really came from a collaborative effort. It wasn't about an agenda where I get all I can get and give as little as possible or whatever, however some people think of sales. Like if you go back to the original intention, it is about that connection, relationship, creating win-wins, and that unity consciousness kind of, where
Absolutely.
what you need and what I need are both addressed, and now it's creating this third energy from the two of us getting together. What's that look like? Which, today looks like this really fun collab, which is fun. And I see Cheryl Sales here and Woody. We've got a couple people. If you guys want to,
hi Cheryl, hey Woody.
If you guys want to speak, just let us know. Just request to speak, and we'll put you up here. It's our first time doing this show, and there's a little bit of a learning curve, so we're not the swiftest with all
working on it
with all the effects.
But it's cool, man. This is how you learn. You just jump right in. That's
exactly
that's the style. That's how I've always been.
So, and I do think what I'd like to say, Michelle, is that we should just keep doing these type of talks and episodes, and just get a little more, because they're going to be different every time. That's why I titled the series with you Pearls of Wisdom, because income and impact is where we intersect, I think. And there's just, you can go on because that looks like a million different things. And so if anybody has suggestions that they want to mention, or like I said, if you want to come up and share your experiences or thoughts, just click a button. We'd love to have you on.
Thank you. Yes, I will get a proper avatar too, and follow me. I definitely gonna play around with the app a lot more.
Oh
I
yeah.
love you know I love social media. I and audio apps, and this is kind of like an audio video app. I really love this,
You can
and
create
I
your
think
own
that
show too, and I can come on to yours as a guest.
yeah, absolutely. I'm probably for now going to focus on TikTok. That's where I am normally.
Oh,
TikTok.
okay.
I'm on TikTok. I have a YouTube channel, and I do want to do so. I would love to have you on the YouTube channel because I do want to get that going, get that kind of in motion again. Um, so for YouTube, for my longer form videos, kind of like these types of conversations, and then TikTok is like where that's where a lot of my creativity bursts, and then and I have a lot more of my like self mastery type
Well, also
conversations over
you're
there.
a rapper, which I would just want to throw out there because you had this beautiful meditation that you sang to. I mean, I really got into it. The rainbow thing, I got all into it.
Yeah, it's
My
powerful.
video was off, so you did not see me dancing in my kitchen, but I was dancing in my kitchen while you were doing it, and I was envisioning myself. She sings, right? Beautiful voice, by the way. And you're singing, and I'm
Thank
envisioning
you.
going up the rainbow, and then I'm envisioning that as I'm spilling out all the gold from my fingertips, like it was just, and I'm dancing. It was really fun. And that I could
It's
totally,
a blessing.
yes, it is. And, so when you're doing something here, you can simulcast this to your YouTube.
See, that's great.
Mhm.
And that just makes sense. you know, you know, like, cause the cool thing about TikTok, like, and yeah, okay. So I'm a sales coach, and a lot of it is speaking your truth. You got to know how to ask questions. You got to know how to ask for the sale, and be confident in doing that. And if there's something that's stopping you from asking for the sale, when you know that you can help someone, when you know it, and then we should not, you said that earlier, Jenny, we shouldn't keep it to ourselves. It's the law of responsibility.
Yes.
However, for empathic people, who still have some internal work to do, in terms of limiting beliefs and things like that, we get in our own way because we feel guilty, or we feel like, oh, we're being we're being, we internalize what we're doing. But the way to clear that out, the quick and fast way to clear that out, is to ask yourself, can I really help this person? And if you can, you should say something. And if you can't, that's okay, because it's feedback. It's letting you know, what is it that's stopping me from saying something? So it's the questions. I think a lot of times with people with the law of attraction, the law of attraction framework is ask, believe, and receive. Where I figured out that people are getting hung up on, I actually wrote about this. This is what I wrote about in the Harmony and Chakras book. I had a chapter about the law of attraction, and I attracted that opportunity right into my life. It was actually pretty amazing. But what people do, it's like we don't ask the same question. It's like asking, like when you ask a question like, hey, I'm asking for $1 million tomorrow, right? That's a question. The believe part, that's where you tap into the emotional guidance system, because then you're going to notice, I don't really believe, like, do I really believe that I will have $1 million tomorrow? No. I mean, it's true. I wish I did, but I don't. So my next question becomes, why don't I believe that I can have $1 million tomorrow?
Well,
What's standing in my way?
that's where you find your blocks for sure. One of the things that I tell
Exactly.
people is if they have the question about, what was your first, you said ask, oh, I want $1 million. Instead of saying, how can I get $1 million or something like that? Or I want $1 million, to just be more like asking your brain, like, how did I get to be so awesomely wealthy and lucky and abundant in what you are? Even if it's, all I have to my name is an apple I'm holding. Hey, I get to eat, I get to live another day. Then that's
Yeah.
going to grow. Whatever you focus on
Yeah.
grows. So if you go where you're at and let that grow, instead of looking outside of you for what you don't have and validating that you don't have it. And that's where I think people get lost in that spiral on the law of attraction. I see we have a couple more people in here. I know we got Sylvie and we got
Hi, hey James,
James.
Sylvie, Woody.
Yeah. If anybody wants
Yeah,
to
I
come
do
up on
too.
stage, just request. We will love to hear you. Love to hear you. Love to see you if you want to come on video or if you just want to talk. Just request to
Yeah,
speak.
absolutely. We definitely want to hear from you and have conversations. Anyone that may want to come up. Yeah, I think that the creative side of the ask, believe, receive is important. So I do believe that making those declarations at first is important, because then it's going to help your brain to start figuring out, well, how would I see that? How would I realize that? I think so. I think that's an important step. And then getting into the gratitude of where you are. And I love how you said, like, how did I get so lucky? Because I think somebody else said that once, and I thought it was really good. They said to ask your brain how you are so abundant. How are you so abundant? And then, so that's kind of what you're saying, right? How am I so abundant? Well, I have it.
You start to answer in ways, instead of looking at what you don't have and then working from that end, it makes you think about what you actually do have. And then that validates the havingness instead of the lack, if that makes sense.
See, I love that, because it really, so, and this is what I thought.
It's a little trick. It does. It really helps.
Well, I love that you're saying that, because it's so true. And I thought this before, and I thought, because you talked about the law of responsibility, and then, so there's the law of attraction, but then there's the law of assumption.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I feel like the law of assumption is more of the designing of the wish fulfilled. I feel personally that the law of attraction is more of a healing modality. It's more of a way to be in touch with where you do have blocks,
yes,
so that you can address
them. I agree. That's why I
up.
see it helpful. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's amazing. I mean, everything has its purpose and place, and
if it's all you focus on, it can really, then that can become a limitation, because it isn't the only thing going on.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess it's always going on, right? But it's not the only thing, especially if you have limitations. That's where I think it helps to do a little tweaking.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for the law of attraction, I created like a little of different framework for it. So I say, ask, believe, heal, or no, I'm sorry. I say, ask, believe, adjust your receiver, because I believe that the heart is the receiver. So I say, ask, believe, adjust your receiver, and heal. And I see it more as a circle than a linear type of a process.
Well, it's the same thing that's happening with Earth. We have it's going out from the core and around and back up. You're creating your magnetic, your own. You're going up and you're going out and you're coming back into. So when the heart coherence is like that. When you're sending out a strong signal with intention that matches your emotional, your thoughts, your emotion, when you're all lined up in alignment, and then you're sending out that signal, the magnetized aspect of the law of attraction, right, it's from the heart energy, from the heart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So think of it this way. Have you ever heard of a Merkaba?
Yes.
Okay. So this is your brain waves are the electrical circuit.
Can you explain what a Merkaba is?
So
for people that are listening, maybe if they don't know.
So it's your energetic vehicle. Where
you're talking about where it's the Star of David, right? It's the pyramid, the
inside
pyramid
an inverted
that starts above.
Pyramid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's okay,
and
great. So it kind of looks like the Star of David.
Yes, spinning around.
Like if it was 3D.
Yes.
And they would be spinning opposite directions.
So the top spins in one way and the bottom spins in another. So if you go with that concept, our top is our brain, where we have our brain waves, right? and we go into different theta state, beta, these different states of brain waves, right? That's our electrical. And then our heart has its own rhythm, right? The heartbeat, you can hook yourself up to an EKG and see what your heart rhythm is. And so that is your magnetism. So here's your electric and here's your magnetic, and it's working in tandem. And when you and so when you match them up and you send out a very clear signal, that is what like affects your perception, and which becomes your reality. So that's why if you see, like, you know, this is true when you can walk in a room or you see someone else walk in a room and they have like all eyes go on them and you don't know really even why, but they just are, their energy is just pulling like everyone's attention, and other people can walk in a room and unnoticed, right? So it's you're sending out this vibrational pattern in your field, but on top of that, your frequency then is going to align and match up with others who are on that same frequency. And so that's why some people might walk in the room, you don't even notice them, and you're like, wow, I didn't even notice them, because you're not aligned. They're dialed into a downer negative station. You're like up here. You just don't even, you're in the same physical space, but you're not in the same reality, really. One person could be very sad and one person be very happy. You're like, how's that happen? It's because of how you have tuned up your space. How you've tuned or how you've charged up your energy field. You are an energy field.
I love that you said the tune up too, because I really like that. I like that understanding.
It's in your control, and when you think it isn't, that's when I say to people, but it literally is. With choice, with free will, you can make this choice about how you look at something, how you feel about something. We actually choose our feelings, even though I know, especially with ADHD, it feels like our feelings come first or bigger, but literally it's just that fast. It's really a choice. You can make a different choice and you can feel a different way. It takes practice. I'm making it sound like just do it. No, it's
yeah. No, I know too. And because there's also, because of this, I think I hate how we've renamed things so much in these days, but like they call it toxic positivity.
Yeah.
But one of my friends, when I was explaining this, she was like, what? And I told her, and she's like, oh, you mean denial? I'm like, yeah, that's a much better word for that. That's what that is. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's so real. Like we love to rebrand everything, right? It's just straight up denial.
Yeah, but straight up denial.
It's just straight up denial. Toxic positivity is just straight up denial. I love that. I love that so much because it's so true.
Yeah.
And to your point, you know, the choice, the work, because it does sound easy, and because everything's an and, you know, in the abundance universe, and it takes a conscious effort to acknowledge the truth of how you feel and open up to actually to coming to a true peace and letting go. So it's not something that you just forget, like, oh, I don't, you know, like, okay, I'm just going to choose to just be happy anyway. That can work for a little bit, but you really still want to and need to get to do the work to really clear that out of your space. That is the work, because we, you know, if we just do this look, okay, the other day, you know, everything happens for a reason, and but the other day a cat darted in front of my tire and I hit it right over it. It was the worst feeling in the world. Okay, so there's actually a deeper lesson to this, because I was crushed. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know if any of y'all have ever had something like that happen to you.
Oh, yeah, it's awful. Awful.
It is the worst, you know, and I'm saying this to, maybe there's someone in here that needs to hear this. So that's why I'm going to quickly tell this story, because of everything that I went through. And there is a lesson at the end of it. This just happened a week ago. I was doing everything right. I mean, when I tell you, it was like 11:30 at night. I was driving. I don't drink or do drugs anymore. I used to a lot. Okay. So I'm just making that clear. I used to a lot. Never had anything happen like this in all the million times that something like this could have happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I had my phone was on. I was not on my phone because I've been watching. The signs have been telling me to not do that anymore, to not be unfocused while I'm driving. And I love that for me because I do have ADHD and I have had issues with, I mean, I would go live while I'm driving and all kinds of stuff. And I just don't do it anymore because the information coming through was not a good plan. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that down. I even had both hands on the wheel and I was just totally dry. And it seemed like it just dove straight towards me. Now, one of my spiritual friends said that they think that it chose me to die because it wanted to be honored in its death. And I'm like, that I hope that that's the case. That would be beautiful. But when it happened, I'm tore up about, I'm like, oh my God. So I kept driving a little bit and I heard myself try to tell myself these tricks. Like maybe it was, this is horrible, but I was like, okay, maybe it was a squirrel, not a cat. Not that it matters. Maybe I just rolled over something, because I'm thinking, oh my God, these people are going to miss their cat. I was driving. So what I did, I turned back around because I'm like, what if it's still alive and it's having a time? And oh my God,
Yeah.
So I went back. I called 911. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for calling 911. I didn't know who else to call. I was late. I looked up the animal control people. They were all closed.
Right.
So I called 911 and said, hey, I said, I don't know who else to call. I said, I know this is the wrong number, but hopefully you can tell me who I should call about this. And they said, well, is the cat still in the middle of the road? And I said, no. I said, yes. And they said that they would send a police officer to come and remove it out of the road so it's not a danger to anyone else. Well, I went back. It wasn't moving or anything. So I was like, well, okay, it's not suffering in that way.
Right.
But and it was too late for me to ask around the neighborhood.
Yeah,
It was
right.
but I did the best that I could and that I knew how to in that situation. And I honored my soul. The whole point of me telling that story is I went back, I showed the cat some respect and dignity. Nobody was watching. Nobody had to know, but I would have known.
Yeah.
I would have known.
Right.
And maybe for you or somebody else, that's not a big deal, but for me it is. And that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Well, this is exactly the thing so for example, I would say because these kinds of things happen, right? And then you have to say, I was doing the best I could. I forgive myself for I hit the cat. I have to let that go. I've done everything I could do and I was always doing the best I could. And only you hold on to that. So you have to let that go or hold on to it. But if you let it go, there's healing in the letting it go. And you have a beautiful share because that is this kind of thing happens to us all the time. Well, everybody in here and everybody watching this and everybody all the time, no one intended for that to happen. That was awful. But it's okay. If you decide it's okay because you did everything you could in your control and you've forgiven, the cat for jumping in front of you, you forgave yourself for hitting.
Yeah, because I went through the stages of grief.
Right. You think of that's what we do. We go through every machination, how else could this have happened? And you know what? I love that. I don't know if you've ever heard Matt Kahn, but he's one of my little spiritual guru guys. I love him. And he said, and I go by this, if it could have happened any other way, it would have. We don't have to know why things happen, but if you go with that belief of, you know what, there was for whatever reason, and it's not really even for me to know right now. I have to let that go. I have to forgive, move on, let go, however you get there. And then and the beauty of it is that you can share it and not have any pain, because that's something, there's a teaching moment there. That's beautiful. Thank you. I know that wasn't easy to go through, but thank you for sharing it because it does happen to all of us.
It wasn't easy to go through, but I think it really speaks to, and the reason I share that is because the more that we can be honest, and like I said, there's no liberation like the truth. And for me, and when we know ourselves, we know I know myself. I could have, if I would have done anything different than the way I did, handle things the way I did, I would not have been honoring myself nor the cat, because that was important to me. I'm not saying that everybody would
I'm a
go through the
cat
same
person, so I
process.
totally get it.
Yeah, and I'm just a life person. I'm the person that if I got to kill a roach, I'm like, sorry, dude. I'm like, it's you or me. I have to go through. It's like it's you or me. You're not safe. You're not healthy. You're not good for
Oh
humanity.
my
Sorry.
gosh, I love
But
it.
because I do care. That's just the kind of person that I am, and so that circles all the way back to the beginning of the conversation and income and impact and sales. It's like, believe it or not, that there is the parallel, and the main parallel is that, be in integrity. As long as when you can be in integrity with who you are, and you can really examine, like, okay, hey, when you know that you can actually help somebody with I like to say, if you're on a mission to deliver a miracle through your message, method, modality, or means or mechanism, then you have a responsibility to see that through. Now, how people perceive you in the doing of that's where your own character development comes in.
Well, and
And the
also
truth is,
that's
just
their
like you said,
responsibility. It's not your responsibility for how people see you.
that's right. That's right. And the truth is that, if you weren't going to have to deal with humiliation in building your business, you're going to be humiliated sometimes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be talked down upon. You're going to be betrayed by people that you think that you're in alignment with. Like, it's part of, I'm just here the pearl of wisdom to get today is that it's just because it's your calling doesn't mean that it's a smooth ride. It means
There you go.
that
There's the quote
you
of
get
the
to
day.
develop yourself.
There's the quote.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we have to go because I see we're at the hour mark. We're a little over the hour. I really appreciate everybody hopping on and listening to us and participating. And we've connected and followed. And I know I'm looking again to see if there's anybody else here in the chat that I didn't follow yet. Like, be sure and stay tuned and follow when we do more shows. I loved having you on. What do you think of this, huh?
Yes, this has been great. I'm so happy.
All right, we're gonna.
I love it. Thank you. This is such an incredible, fun space.
I know we're gonna do it again. So, anyway, ciao, everybody, and I will
Indeed.
see you another time. I mean, we could keep going. Like Michelle, when we first met, we could have talked for 10 hours, right? See, it happened again. We could talk for 10 hours.
Oh, we still can.
We have to force ourselves.
Oh, we still can. It's great.
Force ourselves
It's
to
great.
quit.
Okay, well, we got to force ourselves to make sure we talk again soon.
Bye.